I was using the Google Colab notebook for Piper training to test out different settings and such, when suddenly I received this message. It said my runtime has been disconnected due to inactivity or reaching its maximum duration. So I closed out of that and tried to reconnect, and then I received this message. It said I cannot currently connect to a GPU due to usage limits in Colab. So I decided I would learn how to do the Piper training locally. I went ahead and gathered more audio clips and automated the conversion to WAV files and creation of a transcript file. This WAVs folder has all of the 670 audio WAV files. There were some clips 45 seconds or longer, which was causing CUDA out of memory errors, so I manually shortened those so that everything is 20 seconds or less. This transcript file has the text spoken in each clip as a new line, with the format required by Piper. On the bottom right of Notepad++, it should say UTF-8 like it does for this one. If it doesn't, then open the file with Notepad. Resave it using Notepad like here. In the dialog box, you will be able to select encoding. Here, it is already UTF-8, so I will leave it as is, then simply click Save. With the help of ChatGPT, I was able to automate the process of converting to WAV and creating the transcripts. There is this free Hugging Face course on natural language. Today, we will be looking at PixArt Alpha. Just today, Anyways, that is all for today. In conclusion, this is all wrong. I shouldn't be up. These are the 3 MP3 audio files I will use for this demonstration of the automation process. The batch file converts the MP3 to WAV files, and the Python script writes out the transcript file. Let's take a look at the batch file. It calls an ffmpeg command for each MP3 file in the folder and converts it to a WAV file that is the appropriate sample rate and encoding expected by Piper. So for this batch file, you will need to have ffmpeg installed. I will link to the prerequisite video. Let's run the batch file and see what happens. It called ffmpeg and it created 3 WAV files. Next, let's look at the Python script. It uses the OpenAI Whisper library for the transcribing. It goes through each WAV file in order, transcribes it, and writes the transcribed text to a new line for each WAV file, putting it in the format that is expected by Piper. To use the script, you will need to have an environment that has OpenAI Whisper installed, which you can do by simply calling pip install OpenAI-Whisper. I already have it installed in one of my Conda environments, so I will just use that Conda environment. First, I will cd to the folder where the Python script is. I will copy-paste the folder path to cd to it. Then I will copy the name of the Python script and just run the script from the prompt. By calling Python space and then the name of the script, it will print out which WAV file it is currently transcribing. There are only 3 WAV files for this demo, so the whole process shouldn't take too long. Now let's take a look at the transcript file it generated. That looks good. It has the text from all 3 audio files and is in the format that Piper expects and is UTF-8 encoding on the bottom right. That is how I generated the WAV files. Anyways, if we go to the GitHub page for Piper, we can find the local training instructions. Scroll down and there will be a link to the training guide, which will take us to this page with a link to a YouTube video of the training done on Linux and a link to an article to do training on Windows with WSL, which stands for Windows Subsystem for Linux. I will leave a link to this page. I am going to install it slightly differently than the instructions. First, in the command prompt opened as administrator, I am going to call WSL --list --online. That way I can see the available Linux distributions and copy-paste the specific version of Ubuntu version 22.04. Type WSL --install, then paste the specific version. This will start the install process. During the process, it will ask you to create a Unix username. I will enter my name. Then it will ask for a password. I would say choose an easy to remember password, since you will not be able to see what you are typing in the command prompt and will have to hope you don't have a typo. Eventually, it should say installation successful and be ready to receive further input. If we now go to our File Explorer and scroll down, there should be a new icon for Linux with a picture of a penguin. This is where you can access files that will be stored by your Linux application. If you type WSL in the programs, you should see this WSL application. I am going to pin this to the taskbar. Let's carry on with the training article and run these commands to install and update the mentioned necessary components. It will ask you for the password when you run the sudo command, so enter your password and hope you don't have a typo and hit enter. When it finishes, let's run the next command to upgrade the distribution. This time, it will not ask you for the password. This will take a while. When it finishes, copy-paste the third command to install the necessary libraries and components. When it finishes, go back to the article. It shows how to install Recording Studio. For this video, I will skip that since I already have all of the audio files I need and don't need to record anything. The next section is to create a Python virtual environment for Piper. First cd to the base folder. Then git clone the Piper repository. When that finishes, we can see where it cloned that code by going to the Penguin Linux folder. Go into the folder for Linux, and then go into the home folder. And then in the folder for your username, you will see the Piper folder, which is what we just cloned with the git clone. The rest of the commands in this section results in the creation of a Python virtual environment, activation of that environment, and then installing the requirements, similar to how we do it in Conda, but with Python virtual environment. So instead of making you watch me copy-paste the commands one by one, I will skip ahead to the last command in this section. This is the last command in this section. After running this command, I will be installing 2 additional things that are not mentioned in this article, but I needed to install to avoid errors when running the training. The first one is Torch Metrics version 0.11.4. So I will run pip install for that package and version using the == syntax. Oops, I forgot the S in the package name. I will rerun the command, except with the S this time. The second thing I needed to install was PyTorch. Let's go to the requirements file to see what version we need. It mentions it should be at least version 1.11.0. I am going to go to the PyTorch site and click on previous PyTorch versions, then do a search for that version number. Scroll past the section for Conda because we are not using Conda for this. For the wheel, for Linux, I will copy-paste the command for CUDA 11.3. Even though this was specified in the requirements file, I still had to install it this way for it to recognize CUDA for my environment. The next section is for pre-processing the dataset. I am going to copy the WAV files over manually since I have them in a different folder. I will go back to the Piper folder and create a new folder called My Dataset. I am going to drag and drop the waves folder and the transcript file from my desktop to the My Dataset folder. On the GitHub page, it mentions the transcript file should be called metadata.csv. So I am going to change it from transcript text file to metadata.csv for the file name. Next, let's cd into the Python folder where the Python scripts are. Next, I will run the pre-process Python scripts with these parameters. When that finishes, we can see that it created a My Training folder with some files and folder within it. Next, we use this command to download an existing pre-trained model to use to fine-tune our training on. I am going to copy this command to a text editor to edit the batch size. I set it to 12 for my GPU. Now let's copy-paste and run the command to start the training. By the way, I forgot to mention that right-clicking in the WSL window will automatically paste it. Don't need to press Ctrl+V. Something we can do while it is training is to monitor it using TensorBoard. I am going to first open a second WSL window, and then just copy-paste and run this command from earlier to activate the Python virtual environment for Piper. I am going to copy-paste this command to a text editor and update the directory name where the lightning logs are stored. And then we can run this command in that second WSL window to launch the TensorBoard web server. I will launch a browser window to this URL. This has a lot of information, and I don't really know what any of it means, but it is a fun little thing to explore while the training is occurring. I think this details the progress of the training. You can click the refresh button on the top right to refresh the data in the charts. It has now been about 2 hours worth 100 epochs of training, and here is how these charts look now, just a bunch of squiggly lines and numbers. Here is a close-up of it. Memorize this, there will be a quiz. I am going to press Ctrl+C to end the training now. There is a section on testing the model, but I am going to skip that and go straight to exporting it as an ONNX file. There are 2 commands. First, we create a directory to store the ONNX files. Then we call the Python script to export the model. I will copy-paste and run the first command to create the new directory. The second command, I will copy into a text editor to modify the checkpoint file name. Here is the file name we need to modify. I am going to open up the Penguin folder for Linux, go into Ubuntu, then home, then your user, then Piker, then my training, then lightning logs, then version 0, then checkpoint. Say that 5 times fast. Here is our checkpoint file. I am going to copy the name of this and paste it into the command in the text editor. That way, Piper knows which checkpoint file we want to export to Onyx. I will also modify the model name to something I can use to know which training session yielded this model. I will call it local 100 epochs 2 hours. Now let's copy, paste, and run the command. This will take a little while. Once it finishes, we can go back to the article and run the final command to also copy over the JSON file. And we are done. If we go into the My Model folder, we will see the Onyx file. I am going to rename the JSON file to match the Onyx file. I am not sure if that is necessary, but I will do it just because the JSON files for existing models have the same name as the naming convention. I'm going to drag and drop the 2 files into the custom folder of the Piper UI so that I can test it out. This message appears to show because I am copying something from Linux in WSL to Windows instead of from another folder on the Windows operating system. Anyways, let's test out the new model. This is all wrong. I shouldn't be up here. I should be in school, on the other side of the ocean. I spend all my free time staring at ducks, but the ducks never stare back. After installing Linux on my machine, I now have a picture of a penguin on as the icon for a computer drive in Folder Explorer. And now we are done. It would be nice if we could have the training functionality streamlined as part of this UI, but I am not sure of the complexities involved with executing code in Linux on WSL from Windows from within this WPF application. Anyways, at least now I will be able to train locally when my Google Colab quota is exceeded. That is all for today. Thanks for watching.
Ducks.